Hello, Reese from the Point Music Podcast thingy. We just celebrated a year. We've done a whole year of this. That's pretty wild. I was supposed to have like a very cool live in the studio podcast thing last week. Couldn't do it obviously because someone decided to get the spicy cough and we went into lockdown. Couldn't do anything. I'll prepare something for another time and make it cool. Anyway, this episode here is a very cool one, a very laid back one, and I really appreciate it. Special guest was Leanne Tennant, going by the name LT now. She got a new single called Hold Ya. Very cool, very dreamy pop. She is a 3-time Queensland Music Award winner and multiple nominees, and it's all for blues roots stuff, which is really weird. We'll get into that into this podcast. Anyway, I'm rambling. Ladies and gentlemen, people of all sorts, LT, Leanne Tennant, enjoy. This time we're rolling. A little bit of spit just came out. I'm sorry. Leanne Tennant. Leanne Tennant. LT. Hello.
That's it.
Yay. First, we'll get to that bit in a second because I want to ask you about that a little bit. I kind of know why you changed it, but at the same time. Congrats. New single. Hold Ya.
Yeah.
Hold Ya. It's, because I had a few listens to it prior to this, and it's actually, you may disagree, but I've heard your stuff previously, and it's definitely a little bit something different for you.
Yeah, you're right. It is. It's similar to some of the stuff that I was putting out on my last record, Happiness Is. It's kind of a bit of a sister song to Bring It All Back, which was one of the singles off my last record, but it is moving much more in the direction of indie pop. But yeah, compared to what I was putting out a number of years ago, it's vastly different.
Oh yeah, I mean, 3-time winner of the Blues Roots Award in the QMAs. I mean, it's not roots or blues.
I know. What is roots though? I mean, it's like,
what is it? That's the question. I mean, we were having a little talk about this previously, but yeah, dreamy pop though.
Songs about place. That's how I see it, and I would link very very distant way back to, I guess, my UK heritage and growing up listening to folk music. That is an element of roots there, folk and blues. But yeah, this stuff's a little bit more indie pop, I think.
UK heritage, whereabouts?
I was born in Ellesmere Port, which is a little town just outside of Chester.
Yeah.
It's near Liverpool and Manchester.
Right, yeah, my dad's a northerner.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, he's up in Yorkshire. He's from Bradford.
Ah, Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
have you got dual passport?
No, I've missed out, man. Like, I actually didn't start traveling overseas until I was, I'm going to show my age here. I was 31, 32, and then the cutoff is 30, isn't it? That's what I always thought it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the work, yes. But if your dad is born there...
Yeah, but he's naturalised here, though, now.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't want to be in the UK right now anyway. We don't want to...
No, yeah.
But back to the single. I want to talk about your evolution, like I said, because previously your stuff was more sort of folksy and blues rootsy and that sort of stuff. I mean, not blues rootsy, but that's the only genre we've been put in. Why this evolution? Why have you felt like it needs to go to you're going into the dream pop realm now and in the sort of real indie, almost into shoegaze territory if you're being careful. So why this evolution?
I think the answer to that question is pretty simple for me. I have listened to loads of different genres of music my entire life, and the stuff that I really, really fucking love listening to isn't necessarily the stuff that I write. And so over the years, I've kind of flirted with different genres, and then for a while, some of the stuff that I was writing comes back to my folk heritage, I guess, so lots of guitars and finger picking and that type of thing, which I still, every song that I write pretty much starts that way.
Yeah.
And then it kind of moves into something else. But the type of music I'm writing now has always been there. There just hasn't been the right record to put them out on, because it doesn't make sense to have something like Hold Ya next to something like Lay Me Down off my last record, which is really, really kind of folksy. These songs have to wait until there's a collection of songs either side of them for them to make sense.
Yep.
And I think over the years, I have been boxed into alternative country, which isn't something that I have ever. There is some alternative country that I really love, but it's not something that I have listened to for years and years and years. When I was being boxed into that realm, I was actually doing a lot of research and finding artists that I loved, and running with that. So it wasn't something that was natural to me. Whereas growing up listening to Nirvana and Neil Young and Mudhoney and all these Seattle grunge sounds has been my world for many, many years. And I think that crossover of where things are at now is a bit of indie rock coming through, which is, stems of it in my head are like, oh, this is like a little melody line from some of the Seattle sound stuff that I was listening to, but it sounds nothing like it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would never have picked that.
No, exactly. But then putting the pop elements into it just kind of, it's just something that has been happening when I'm in the studio, and I've been really enjoying it. And so with anything I write, I just try and let it be how I'm feeling at the time rather than think about, does that make sense?
Well, because your older stuff is a lot more organic, and this one's definitely got a lot more production behind it and some electronic sort of stuff coming through. So is there any sort of anything that's influencing the electronic sort of stuff to come through as well?
Some of the artists I've been listening to over the last couple of years, such as Jack River, I really love Jack River, and in the US, Sky Ferreira.
Hey.
Who I love.
She's gone quiet though. She's gone fairly quiet.
She's been quiet for a while. But great songwriters, like the songs are structured so well, and they're structured really quite classically as well, it's quite a classic structure. So I have been listening to a lot of that for years, but with their production, even though it does sound like quite a lot of gritty guitars and things like that, there is a lot of production.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Yeah, and that's been a big influence to me. And once I've realised, I've always gone into the studio playing acoustically and been too scared because I haven't had the money and to be able to spend time in the studio and muck around with things. I just kind of get it done and in and out.
Yeah.
And this last couple of years I've had the luxury of being able to go, I love this sound, I love this, I love that, I love these artists, can we try this? And that's how it's kind of evolved and happened.
So you don't do any sort of self-production at home or anything?
No, I wish. That's my weakness is all of that side of things, tech and production and everything. Scares the hell out of me.
Plenty of YouTube videos on that, man. I had to teach myself that last year.
Oh, it's just, I know, but I've tried and it just kind of doesn't. It doesn't stick in my brain.
What is it? Is it the actual sort of like I use like a lot of people use Logic Pro, okay? And if you've used GarageBand before to do demos, then Logic Pro is just basically GarageBand on steroids.
Yeah, but there's so many different bits to it.
Not really. No, it look. I'm scared. I don't have a like I've been playing bass for 27 years now, but I had a little bit of training before that in trumpet and baritone horn, so I could read music. But apart from that, I know stuff all about scales and music theory. Okay, I know it sounds good, and I know tempo, and I know time signature, which is fairly easy and straightforward. And if you work to click and you basically have a condenser mic like I'm using here, and an interface and Logic Pro, mate, you can lay down demos like that, and then you could even make tracks that way. I didn't realize, because I was like you, I was freaked out.
Mm.
And then I went into the whole thing. Well, maybe it's not as hard because you've been in the studio several times, so surely you know how it works. But it's only
Yeah.
when you're looking at studios and you're normally operating in, say, like Pro Tools, right?
Yeah.
And that looks confusing to me.
Yeah.
But when you look at Logic, it is basically a souped-up version of GarageBand, and it does the same goddamn thing.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look. I've got to get over my
Get past your fear. There's so many tutorials. There's so many tutorials on YouTube. You got a plethora of free information that people put up there, and it tells you how basically to do it. All you need is time. I mean, shit, last year we had all the time in the world.
Yeah, well, yes, that is the thing. I would love. I've always wanted to learn how to play the drums on a drum kit, and so I think that would, yeah. If I had time, I would be learning the drums.
You know what? The people would say, if I had the time, I don't get offended by it, but I just going, really? I work full time. I run The Point. I run this podcast here. I'm in 3 bands, and
Do you have 2 kids?
I have 3 kids.
Ah, okay.
But okay. And that said, the 2 little ones who are not really little, they're teenagers. They don't live with me full time.
Oh, there you go.
And
Okay,
my eldest moved out of home last year. She's 20 nearly. So
right. Okay, so mine are 8 and 20 months.
well,
20-month.
the 8-year-old you don't have an excuse with. The 20-month-old you do.
Yeah, and he's hard work.
Mm.
Hard work. So boys, hey, boys are.
Well, I've got all girls, mate, so I wouldn't know.
Well, they are naughty.
Girls are naughty when they get to the teens, mate. Trust me.
Yeah, that's it. I think the roles swap.
Mm-hmm. Boys are just stinky. That's all.
Yeah.
But like, I've been in that position, and because I've been teaching myself how to do this production sort of side of things, my middle child, who's turning 15, has gained an interest in singer-songwriter stuff.
Cool.
She's learning how to play guitar. She's being tutored down here by Andrea Cohen. Thank you, Andrea. And she's finding her own voice, and she knows what she likes, what music she does. She appreciates all kinds of music, and she shows me stuff that I've never heard before, which is cool. And
that's really cool.
I've shown her how to produce. So
Awesome.
she doesn't have all the gear I have, but I think I got Reaper for her, which is a similar sort of digital audio workstation, and put it onto a laptop for her, and I gave her my old audio interface and a microphone, and I said, figure it out. And that's what she's doing.
That's great.
If a 15-year-old can do it, mate, you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think the reason that I learnt guitar and with songwriting is because I was 13 years old in my bedroom. You know, you've got all the time in the world. Nothing else has any urgency.
But it's all dramatic though too.
So dramatic.
So dramatic. So how much of that 13-year-old self do you still draw back on with all the drama and that sort of stuff in your life, and it sort of seeps into your songwriting now?
Yeah, I still do. I still do have a lot of that, and that's probably why I moved into a bit of another direction, is because most of my stuff has been quite angsty, dark stuff.
Nothing wrong with that.
And taking influence from Nirvana back to my Nirvana obsession days, and lyrically writing about things a little bit abstract to what the lyrics may portray. It's most likely about other things.
Yeah.
But after a number of years of kind of sitting within that, I think that's why I just felt like for my own personal sense of self and mental state, that I needed to just try and write things that were a little bit more uplifting and out of that, still with some intensive lyrics, but the melody behind it, you know, feeling a little bit. I kind of needed to bring myself out of a bit of a state, I think.
Well, Hold You does have that lightness to it, but it's influenced by something a bit
heavy,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you want to discuss that or not really?
Yeah, no, sure. So I think with the pandemic, I've been joking that when we come out of it, if we come out of it, I do believe it's a when,
Mm.
but there'll be a lot of divorces and there'll be a lot of babies being born. You
Yeah.
know, like when you're forced to spend that amount of time with one person or a group of people and you don't see anyone else,
Mm.
uh, it's a wonderful thing, but it does put strain on relationships, and whether that be a romantic relationship or a work relationship or your friends or whatever,
Yeah.
the dynamic has changed. And in my experience, I had been going through a very, very hard time in my own personal relationship, and it was make or break, really. And but neither of us wanted to leave, and that's the song. Even though it's about that, there's a lot of hope in it because the song is basically about saying, you know, we're both over this, but neither of us want to leave. And if you tell me to stay, please, that's all I want you to do is tell me to stay, And yeah, that's the message behind that one.
So it took a pandemic for that conclusion to come to a head. Like,
Um, no, I think that there'd been some struggles prior to that, but the pandemic kind of put other pressures
mm,
on you as a person outside of that. So like I lost my day job, which outside of music, I work um, also in the arts, but that job was kind of down the gurgler because it was
yeah,
in the arts, and having a new baby and and then just everything kind of changing. It put a lot of outside pressure on something that was already perhaps in a bit of a fragile state.
mm,
Yeah, I think getting through that uh, was, a good indication that that you do want to see it through. You know, if things are that hard and that difficult, it's quite easy to walk away. But yeah, to stick it out, obviously we love each other because it was a tough time. That's for
yeah.
sure. Yeah,
I mean, in speaking in sort of a music sort of side of things too, I saw a lot of bands break up in that same period.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but usually when I see that happening, I mean, like I said, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for a long time. If you seriously can't hold out for 6 months to 2 months, is what we basically had to hold out for,
mm,
and can't figure out how to make that work, then why are you doing? Why are you in this industry? This was one of the reasons why I started the podcast in the first place. It's actually just past a year now that I started this podcast, mainly because of the fact of COVID. Couldn't see any of my music mates, and they all had stuff to get out there and didn't know how to get it out. So I started this podcast thing. I figured out another thing I figured out was how to do podcasting, um, and I got them talking. And the only times, a lot of the time, when I get to actually talk to my musician friends and peers is usually at a gig. There's
yeah,
usually beer involved or alcohol involved, and a lot of noise in the background, and a lot of bullshit talked. And this whole scenario of the pandemic and everything, people couldn't do that.
yeah,
Emotions came out, and because people were holding things in because they didn't get to see people face to face, it made for more interesting interviews. I can guarantee you that, because people could
yeah,
get the stuff out, and because they were talking again, talking in the face to face, and a lot of the time, like I said, that I know a lot of these people, and they haven't had a chance to talk to me on a face to face thing for more than 10 minutes without, because it's always in passing or alcohol involved or noise and what's like that. So yeah,
yeah,
this pandemic thing has been bad but good for the industry, and bad and good for relationships.
yeah. Absolutely.
There's
Yeah,
always going to be something good coming out of it. I mean, obviously, man, it inspired a single and helped you get this out, and it's a cool as shit single. So I'm trying to take what I can and learn from this whole process. I mean, like I said, I started producing shit. You would know this, and a lot of my musician friends know this too. Is the anxiety levels dropped? I don't know if did you feel that, apart from what you were dealing with on the outside there, but on the
Yeah,
music industry level.
yeah, I did actually. It's funny you say that because I don't, I get stressed. I suffer from anxiety, and
Same.
when I tour, I think most arty people do in some way. I was about to go on tour, and that stresses me out,
Yep.
and it was life was about to get really busy and difficult, and I could feel the anxiety rising as that it was approaching, and then this happened, and so it was nice to take a break, like a forced break of okay, well, I'm not doing that now, and then just focusing on other things and doing gardening and just doing mundane stuff around the house, and not feeling like oh I'm not working hard enough, or I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I should be preparing for this.
You
It
fucking
just
nailed
felt
it.
yes, that I loved that. It was so good. And but then there was a bit of a shift where I started seeing all these, like you can learn this free course and write, use this time to write. And it's like I just didn't feel I didn't
Yep.
feel like it. I just wanted to take that time to do other things.
Yep.
And then, Hold You was written, but it was just like one of the songs, like it wasn't because I had to, it just came out. And yeah, I liked that. I liked the change of pace and the pressure being taken off, and knowing that everyone else was in the same boat.
I didn't pick
Yeah.
up my bass for 3 months.
Yeah, right.
I was busy learning this shit, and I had my first year anniversary with my wife basically came in May, so a month into COVID, basically, or a month
Yeah.
and a half into COVID, and she bought me a MIDI synth. So I was just going, oh, I've got some new toys to play with here and figure out some. Because I like synths. I'm a soft spot. I'm an 80s and 90s kid, so
Yeah,
all
yeah.
those noises are fucking cool.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, I
I
like
very rarely get a chance to actually sort of seek them into all the stuff I like doing, but now I can, and yeah. But yeah, I mean, I went back to baking. I used to be a baker like 20 years ago,
Oh wow.
and
Cool.
I only do it occasionally, but I started baking brownies, like not those brownies, but brownies and
Yeah.
just scones and just all sorts of stuff, and I felt enjoyment for it. And I'd basically, because my work didn't stop, my work actually kept going. My workload actually tripled
Wow.
because a lot of it shifted online, and because people couldn't go anywhere, they were buying stuff, and yeah, my everyone else was just going, oh, it's nice and relaxing, but yeah, my day at work would be still full on. But
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
outside of that, you're right. It was like a breather. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's good. I want to talk to you about the film clip. Very 80s inspired sort of stuff. I was getting some serious aha take on me sort of vibes happening with that one. Could it be a bit of influence?
Or maybe not so much, but it's definitely 80s.
Yeah.
I mean the venue itself is all still it's very old, and it hasn't had heaps of work done to it. So the inside it's great, like I just wish we could have. There's only so much you can put in a video clip, but there's so many shots inside that venue that are just
Where is that
so
roller
beautiful.
skating rink? Where is that?
It's up in Cairns, Cairns Roller Skating Association, and they were shut because of the pandemic. So we were lucky enough to be able to use the venue, and there was no one in it, and they lent us like 30 pairs of skates. And
Oh, wicked.
it was great. And I put a call out on Facebook and said, who can skate, please get in touch. We had about 20, 30 people come forward, and the vibe in the room, it was so great. There were so many. As I walked around, all I could hear was either laughter or people reminiscing about their skating days. And there were some women there that had skates from the 80s that they still have today, and the only thing that's different from them are the laces, and everyone kind of reliving their past memories. And there was this one story that really captured me, and it was these two friends, and they see each other here and there, but when they get together, every so often they'll get their skates out, and it's for a really important occasion. And so one of them was getting married. They went skating together, and then for one of they've been childhood friends all their life, and they're like in their 50s now.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were younger, one of their dads turned 60, so they got the skates out and they went for a big skate. And then when he died, they got the skates out again for his funeral. So it's like this pattern of things, and there was so many cool stories like that.
There's a song in that.
Oh, there is, isn't there? Yeah. It was just unexpectedly cool, Yeah.
The Wheels of Emotion.
Yeah, totally. There is a song in that.
Is that because I was up in Cairns in October last year? I swear it was late October, early November. Yeah, I was up there on business, and it was weird being up there. Is things starting to come back a little bit there, or is it still pretty dead?
It's still pretty dead. Yeah, like Cairns relies so heavily on tourism.
I know.
But even before that, there has been quite a large number of, this whole nother podcast, but the is just stupid. Yeah. And there's been a lot of closures of venues and things like that. I have
seen that. I mean, I'll be up there with Barefoot in August, I believe.
Where are you playing in August?
Oh, fuck, man. I don't know. I don't book the gigs. I just know where we're going.
Tell me to be there.
I think, is the Jack still around?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure, because we've played there before. I'm pretty sure we'll be playing there.
Yeah, cool. Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk after this, and I'll put it in the diary.
Oh, I got to find the dates. I do know it's in August, like towards the end of August sometime.
Right,
but yeah,
I'll be there.
Because I did get, because I was actually staying more in, not Port Douglas.
Palm Cove?
Yes. Yeah, that's where the little resort is, and a real pretty sort of strip, right? And kind of reminds me of like Noosa, but not as pretentious.
Yeah.
I stayed there on business. And that was lovely. Went to dinner there and that sort of stuff. But yeah, as soon as you get back into Cairns, it's just a weird vibe, man. And last time I was there, before that, it was bustling. So
yeah, it's a real shame. I don't know. Yeah, there just seems to be, like, for me, traveling. I love traveling. Like, if that's my heart is in music, travel, and animals. And yeah, if I wasn't doing music, I would try and do one of the other two. But, when you go all over the world, the places that really capture your heart and that have such good energy are places that are spilling with art and music for me. And surely I'm not being biased. Surely other human beings that aren't musical feel the same way.
Oh, yeah.
So
easily.
Yeah, I think there's just, the problem is that people complain all the time. And people complain about everything and anything just for the sake of complaining. And so to try and make everybody happy, rules get put in place, such as you can't have live music here, and you can't have a busker there, and you can't have this there because it upsets Joe Blow that's just bought a unit right next door. And it's like, well, why'd you buy a unit in the middle of the city? If you want peace and quiet,
this is
move
Sunshine
out of
Coast.
town.
This is the Sunshine Coast all through and through, man. But we're actually coming back the opposite way now, and we are having sort of certain areas where you're just going, you know what, you don't have a say. Not quite as strong as the Valley in Brizzy, where that has a designated entertainment. I mean, Nambour itself has actually got a designated entertainment precinct, but there's still some fucking red tape. Whereas,
Yeah, I know.
whereas the valleys, like, if you move there and you make a complaint, screw you. Like, seriously.
Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah.
It's like moving on top of a fish and chip shop and then complaining that you don't like the smell of fish. Like, what? It was there first. Go away.
But
Go
I
somewhere
bought
else.
there. I didn't do my research. I bought there. I have every right. No, go away.
I want to buy a house here because it's bustling and full of activity, and
Yes.
then buy a house and go. It's loud from all this bustle and activity.
That's West End. That the gentrification of West End, mate. That broke my heart when I saw that change, because West End used to be this whole vibe of creativity and arts and culture and music, and then the ones that wanted to be hipsters but had money came in and fucked it up. That basically gentrified everything.
Oh, right, because I lived I'm from Brisbane originally, and when I left school, I share house lived in West End, and it was great.
Yep.
You know, like that was a long time ago now, but it was awesome. I'm sad to hear that.
I mean, the Valley's still fine, and in the city is okay. West End still has some great venues, but nowhere near as what it was, man. Like, because West End and the Valley always had that weird sort of like people that go West End go to the Valley, and people in the Valley don't go to West End. And
Yeah, I know. It's
Valley used to be always designated being like sort of the indie and like rock and heavy sort of stuff, and West End was where the rootsy kind of people went, and the left of center people would always sort of go towards that because it was left of center, and now it's
yeah. No, that's a shame.
I'm sure like the venues that still keep on going flying the flag loud and proud, I guess. But
Yeah. Oh, because I'm playing in one of them on Saturday.
Which one? Bearded Lady?
Bearded Lady.
Yay! They've I think they expanded too.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, because
Cool.
it used to be a tiny, because you would have been playing in the tiny back room there, which would have had like a 100 capacity outside of COVID. But now I'm pretty sure they're twice the size now. From what I know, don't quote me on it though.
It's been a few years since I've been there, but I've always liked that venue. I think it's got a nice vibe to it. So
And
yeah.
that just reminded me, because you are coming back our way. You're playing Sunshine Sounds Festival.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
And it's actually like literally 2 and a bit weeks away.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, it's the first weekend in May. Yeah.
Yep, I was just looking at flights yesterday, so yeah, it's around the corner.
Sick. That actually looks like a very cool festival. I won't be there because I'll be playing at Aussie World on the Saturday
Oh, cool.
with some pirates. Nah, seriously, Lagerstein. I interviewed him. That was the last podcast I did. Joel from Lagerstein. That was the pirate metal.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm hanging around with some rum drinking pirate metalers instead of seeing
great.
the likes of you and Katie Noonan, who is absolutely amazing. I love Noons. And Andrew Cohen and Band of Frequencies. I'm name checking here. I know all these people. It'd be a rad festival.
It's a great lineup. Yeah.
Solid lineup.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm on the Sunday morning. So I think I'm going to all of the accommodation is booked out. So I was lucky enough to get onto a friend's couch in the area, and I'll be partying away on the Saturday night to all the bands, which will be fun, and then get up bright and bushy for my set on Sunday morning.
Oof, hard. That's harsh, man.
Yeah. But no, it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a while since I've been to a festival, so yeah, I love festivals.
How long's it been since you've been down here on the coast?
Oh God, that's been some time. It's been ages since I've played that way, but Mum and Dad, every time I go back to Brisbane, I go and stay at Mum and Dad's, and they live in Sanford, which is north. Yeah, so they often take myself and the dogs to Redcliffe for walks with the dogs.
That's still not coast. That's still Brisbane.
You reckon?
Yeah, nah, Redcliffe ain't us. Nah. No.
It's kind
of. It has the Bee Gees, and that's the only good thing about it, basically.
it's been. Oh no, hang on. My husband's Dad lives in Obi Obi.
That's coast. That's hinterland, mate. That's a tricky place.
Yeah. So, but even then, that's been a couple of years. So I'm excited. I love Umundi. Umundi's a really pretty little town. I'm looking forward to it.
It's not that little anymore, mate.
Yeah, well, actually, I went to the Umundi markets there a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
It's insane.
Yeah,
Get
it
a park.
still is.
Full on.
The pub there, the Imperial pub there, has actually come a long way though, and they've got their own distillery there.
Oh,
so
right.
They're doing their own gin now, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, Umundi's come a long way, but it's definitely getting the real Noosa hinterland vibes to it now. Like really.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the biggest advocate of Noosa, so sorry, Noosa people, but I'm really not. I just can't. I mean, my wife loves it. We go out there occasionally, but it just Noosa.
Right.
But Umundi, I still love.
Yeah.
But that'd be cool, man.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it, and leaving the kids at home. So. That's gonna be fun.
little bit of a break for you at least anyway, and then you'd be back for Mother's Day the following weekend anyway, so yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Rightio.
Good timing. Yeah, I just reminded you.
Yep, better pop that on the calendar.
Well, you surely that's the last date of your tour, isn't it? The Sunshine Sounds one?
Yes. Yeah, the last couple of shows. Yeah. For now.
What day are you playing the Bearded Lady?
This Saturday.
Oh,
so
shit.
the 17th.
Wow.
Yeah. So my friend Ros Pappalardo, best known for her work with Women in Docs.
Yep.
She is releasing her brand new single under her own solo stuff, Ros Pappalardo. And we're great mates, but she's also my boss at where I work up here in Cairns at the Tanks. So yeah, I'm really excited when she asked if I'd play a few songs for her. I was straight away, yes, because it just means a lot to me to be able to support a good friend and fellow musician. So that will be Saturday at the Bearded Lady, and it's a matinee show. So 2 until 5 or something, so there's still time for dinner and drinks afterwards.
Early one.
Yeah, we can all be in bed by 9 o'clock.
Yeah. You know what? Okay. There was how long's it been since because you played Soul Bar? How many? You've played it a few times.
Yeah, ages ago though now.
Yeah, because when all the changes came into effect, and when the bands started coming back, but they started doing the shows earlier, and a lot of the time we're actually finished by like 10 o'clock or even 10:30, and it's such a change. But at the same time though, I mean, like I'm in my 40s, I'm like, yes, I get to go home and have an early night and go to bed and wake up not hungover the next morning.
I know. God, we've changed.
This is the new rock and roll, people.
Yeah. I know. But it's good. I love an early show. I love it. Then I get to, knock off and yarn and all that stuff. It's good fun.
Actually, a matinee show sounds pretty cool. I mean, I'll be working on Saturday, I won't be able to do that, but I kind of like the idea of that,
Yeah. I think that's way forward.
Mate, we're at 37 minutes now, so we'll wrap this up. That's a pretty good little chat. Actually, before we do that, the name change.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows you as Leanne Tennant, and you've just gone by LT, which is pretty fucking obvious as to like where that comes from.
Yeah,
but I mean that involves a lot of branding, that sort of stuff too. So what happens with your like digital distribution and all that sort of shit?
It was a fucking mammoth task.
I bet.
Because even though I have thought about it and discussed it for years now, actually making the decision to do it, I decided to do it like 6 weeks out from the single being released.
Oh.
I nearly quit music entirely. It's like, that's some idea. Anyway, so but anyway, I got through it, and I am glad I did it. I wish I did it much earlier, but it just kind of it makes sense. Everyone calls me LT, and they have done for some time. Leanne Tennant always, for the history of my life, has been spelt wrong. It's not a name that's easy to kind of remember and
Are they missing
spell.
an N?
Oh, I've had Leanne Tennant, Ternat,
Okay.
Tennant, Pennant. Oh, just the list goes on. And every time I'm on the phone and I'm talking to, like Optus or whatever, whoever, I always go, it's Leanne, T for Tom, N for Nelly, and T for Tom. So it just kind of was like, right, I'm going to do this and just make the leap and just get it done. And, sure, there'll be some people that I may be a little bit harder to find, but in the long run, I think it's just kind of simplifies things. So I had to change all my artwork for all my other releases.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not reprinting those, but digitally, all of that had to get changed.
It's just a pain.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a bit of a mission. There's a couple of other reasons as well why I decided to change it, but I'll probably fill you in on that off record. But it just felt right, and I'm glad I did. It's nice to have a separation as well. From
Well, it makes for a pretty cool logo too, because you can just do the L and the T and sort of make it into a boxy kind of thing. It'd be pretty cool.
It's a rad logo. I love it. It's just simple and easy. Yeah.
So, but ladies and gentlemen, if you choose to change your artist name halfway through your career, it's a pain in the ass. Just so you know.
Give yourself more than 6 weeks
before you release something.
34 months.
Oh, wow.
Get your shit together.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. All right, let's wrap this up. That was great chat, mate. Ladies and gentlemen, Leanne Tennant, I will LT. I will put the link to Hold Ya in the description below in the video, and also include it in the Spotify description. Blah blah blah. Catch you at I won't, but people can catch you at Sunshine Sounds Festival on the first weekend of May. Still some tickets available for that one, but that's got a killer lineup with Katie Noonan, Andrew Kerwin, with her full band. That's her. I think that's her album.
Third one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Bloom, which should be well worth checking out because she'll have the big band for that. Man, I love Andrea. Andrea's Peace Run Records is just around the corner from my house, so literally like a 5-minute walk.
Oh, she's so inspiring. I've never met her, but
mate, she's an absolute queen. And the nicest person.
I sent her a message because she did something last year, I think, where she decided to remove all of her stuff from Spotify and
Yep.
put it on Bandcamp, and I was like, oh,
very brave move, hey.
Brave and inspiring, and I sent her a message and just said thank you for doing something like that and giving other artists such as myself.
She does a lot, mate. If you can find her at the festival, go sit down and have a chai tea with her. And just have a good talk, because she's an absolute legend. I have the utmost respect for her, and she does a lot for here, a lot more than what I do a lot, but she does a shitload more without people realizing it. Band of Frequencies too, absolute legends. I don't know if you've seen them live.
No, I haven't.
Mate, be prepared for the absolute groove, because one of the best eclectic group of musicians I know of on the Sunshine Coast. I mean, OJ on bass plays for John Butler Trio. Shannon Carroll is an absolute funny dude, and also, side note, appears in an Inner Circle film clip from the 1990s.
Oh wow!
That's the fun. He loves that story. And Gunn on Brody Graham on guitar, and Gunn on keys, and just mate, the whole lineup that Maisha's playing.
Sahara Bear.
Oh, I haven't seen Sahara in a long time. Yeah, kind of jealous I'm not going to be there, to be honest with you.
Really, really killer lineup. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Sunshine Sounds. Anyway, we'll wrap this up, and I'll have a quick chat to you two after this while I'm waiting for my dinner, but dinner will be ready soon. Haha. Ladies and gentlemen, Leanne Tennant, LT.
Thank you.
I sincerely hope you enjoyed that one. I loved it. Leanne's an absolute champion, and a fantastic songwriter too. So go check out Holger and also previous stuff. And if you're going to Sunshine Sounds Festival, do check her out while she's there. Well worth it. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. And there are more podcasts coming, as I always say, because there are. I keep on getting it up for all the time, which is cool, but also exhausting. Thank you for supporting local music, live music, Australian music, all sorts of music. You guys are legends. Check you next time.